Welcome to the Body Energetix podcast. I'm your host, 23-year fitness professional, Lauren Saracione. I started my hero's journey of reconnecting with my inner child to heal my mind-body disorders 14 years ago. In this podcast, I share my 3-step system to renew your mind, regulate your emotions, and regenerate your body. Go to bodyenergetix.com to join my free community where each week we expand on the theme of the current episode so you can reconnect your mind body to restore your physical health and create your desired aesthetic.
Hello and welcome to this live stream. We are double timing again. We've got a recording on Facebook, a recording on Instagram and Zoom because this is going to go to YouTube and to my podcast. So welcome to the recording. If you haven't met me before, my name is Lauren Saracione. I've been in fitness for 23 years, and I have gotten really skilled at understanding the body's energy and how we can use our habit change to regulate our emotions, change our mindset, which then will lead to having a healthy body and a fit body. So how I came about understanding this deep connection between thoughts, feelings, and actions is that I've had several health issues. And every time I had a health issue, I learned about psychosomatics, about the mind-body connection. And each thing that I learned really helped me understand how our whole body is connected with our life. And it really gave a deeper understanding to the lifestyle change. So many times, if you've been in fitness for any amount of time, like if you've been exercising and dieting, and maybe you've had results and they haven't stuck, oftentimes we get to a point where we're like, okay, wait, it is the lifestyle that needs to change, right? Like the 21-day fix isn't really doing its thing anymore. We had, boot camps that were 15 years ago. Some people are still doing boot camps. I have no idea why they would still put themselves through that. We've had CrossFit, we'd have strength training, strength is the new black dress, or strength is the new skinny, all those things. What we eventually find out is that we have to have a supportive lifestyle and environment in order to be that person to maintain any type of healthy and fit body. But the only way that we can be the person in a healthy and fit body is if we have a healthy mindset and a regulated emotional state to where we're not letting our emotions get the best of us. The problem, we find that out, right? We have to have a healthy mindset. We have to understand our emotions. We have to have an environment that supports our body. But how do we actually do that stuff becomes the next question to having this healthy and fit lifestyle. And with my, cervical disc injuries that I won't get into the details, maybe you've already heard the story before, I didn't have an external accident. I didn't have a car accident. I didn't have an issue with a barbell. One day at the gym where it was an athletic injury, I had 2 torn discs in my neck. One slid up and under the one above it. I know, sounds totally crazy. You should have seen all of us looking at the report. When I had inflammation in 2020 and I had digestive issues for the second time in my life, I really started to understand what is happening in the mind body if there is a disconnect with it. And then the ramifications of that we have tension and restriction in our physical body. Energy can't flow through our body as it's designed. And then we have degenerative molecules of emotion that cause the inflammation on a cellular level. And a lot of that shows up in our headaches and our digestive issues. So I learned what was those disconnects, why that was happening. And it had to do with my unresolved emotions, the frozen states that I had from childhood where I didn't understand something. And the more I've gotten into this, the more I've seen that space between understanding what we have to do in our habits, but not being able to do it, and understanding that we have to change our environment, but not being able to do it, and really becoming that person who doesn't let stress take them out. And the reason why stress takes us out, either physically or in our behaviors, is because we have these unresolved emotions. And I've gotten deep and I've gotten dramatic, and that's just kind of my style. But the more I've gotten fit and the more I've gotten regulated, the more I've understand it doesn't really have to be that dramatic. We can really use energy and emotions as a strategy, just like you would have a workout program. So that's what I'm going to share with you in this live stream. I'm going to actually tell you how to do it. So stay tuned. And if you follow me on Instagram and you go to the image for this live stream, it says how to regulate your emotions. There's a picture of me and Willow. The text is in black and white. And the post right before that is going to give you the step-by-step process. And you're going to see, on my carousel, exactly what to do. So a little overview. You can do screenshots and print them and use them as a journal prompt. First thing that you're going to do is eat whatever it is that you want. Second thing that you're going to do is eat as much of it as you want, so that we can get to the third step that's going to start changing your energy. So you're going to observe how you felt thinking about eating it, while you were eating it, and what you were thinking right after you ate it. When you are thinking about what you were thinking before you ate it, what you were thinking while you were eating it, and what you're thinking after you're eating it, we are going to find out your emotions and then also the mindsets that go with it. Now, this is unconscious stuff. This is the suppressed or repressed emotions from childhood. This is the dysregulated state of the nervous system. This is your inner child. This is your angry teenager. This is any aspect of you that had to escape reality when something was overwhelming. And the value of understanding this is that while you understand your emotions, your thoughts and feelings in this process, you're also going to clean up your life. So you are going to meet your dream body, your healthy and fit dream body, by changing who you are and changing the environment around you, your lifestyle. So you're going to write down these thoughts, right? And whatever the thought is before you eat it, like, oh my God, I really want to eat this, but I shouldn't because ... this food is on my bad list. What you're thinking while you're eating it, I shouldn't because this is bad. I'm being a bad person for eating this food. And then what you're thinking afterwards, I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have eaten it. I shouldn't want to eat it. I shouldn't be eating it. And then I shouldn't have. That observation is going to lead us into the next step, which is, what are you making those thoughts mean about you? And this is really important because when we understand that our thoughts are generated by feelings, and the mind-body connection is about identifying who we are. And as we're going through developmental ages and stages, especially in the ages of 0 to 3 and like 0 to 7, we are figuring out, based on our feelings, who we are in the world. And the mind-body connection of how it's working vibrationally with the vibrational component of emotions is that when you get into the vicinity of somewhere, those vibrations are they are emotion. That is what an emotion is. It's a vibration and it's a molecule. When your body starts to go around something in an environment, it's always picking up the vibe. Like, I love doing my dance classes with Melissa because of her vibration, because of the emotions that are emanating from her body that make me feel a certain way, that make me have different thoughts about myself. So I love being in her vibe. There's people that you don't like being around, and there's environments that you don't like being around. That is your mind-body connection. And the mind-body connection is forming your identity, or the identity is formed in that 0 to 7, so that when you go out and live your life, you can identify, is this for me? Is this not for me? So we need to have meaning, because that's what gives us our mind-body identity. That's just how the system works. That's just how your mind-body system works. So when we take a look at the food and we look at the thoughts that we're having, before we eat the thing that we're going to eat, while we're eating the thing that we're going to eat, and then after we're eating it. When we can identify that in the meaning we're giving ourselves, then we can find that underlying emotional state that is the unconscious state that is creating our life. Carl Jung said, what is unconscious will keep developing. And if you don't work on the unconscious, it will create your reality and you will call it fate. Our unconscious state is the thing that's creating our entire life. And I learned this by understanding how to self-heal in psychosomatics when I had health issues. So step number 5, after we do step number 4, which is what are you making these things mean about you? When you can identify what you're making it mean about you, you find out the mind-body identity that you've created when things happened that you didn't understand, or when things were too overwhelming that you had to check out. And what happens when we do this is we leave the emotional, intuitive body that is the vibration that is picking up the vibe of, if this is this for me, is it not for me? Do I feel safe here? Do I feel unsafe here? Your likes and your dislikes. So when we have that identity, which is just information, should I be here? Should I not be here? Instead of understanding that that aspect of our physical function is to identify, should I or shouldn't I? Is this for me? Is this not for me? We end up using that as a judgment to say, I'm bad, I'm good, I'm right, I'm wrong, I'm too much, I'm not enough, I'm unworthy, I don't deserve this. Instead of just understanding it as a function of the body to let us know if we should be where we are at this time. So when you take that, what am I making it mean about me? Well, if I'm feeling I shouldn't because you're being bad, or I shouldn't have, those meanings end up translating into I'm bad for liking this. I'm mad at myself for eating this. Like while you're eating it, I'm mad at myself for eating this because I know I shouldn't be eating it because it's not going to fit my goals. And then afterwards, we're like, well, I failed. I'm a failure. And then when we look at those feelings and those emotions where we're like, okay, so if I start from the beginning and I'm thinking, I really want to eat this thing, but I shouldn't. And that resistance to the desire and the judgment becomes too much, right? Like it gets really overwhelming in our system. And we're like, oh my God, I should just eat it so that I can stop torturing myself with this inner battle of, I really, really want this. I'm craving it. I really, really shouldn't. I should distract myself, until finally we just give in, because that's going to be the easiest thing to get rid of this disruptive state in our system. So then we're eating the food. And while we're eating the food, we're like, I shouldn't be eating this. This isn't what I really want. Now that the consumption of the food is happening, if we can stay present to it, what's really happening in our mind body, in our thoughts and our feelings, is that we're eating it and we know that we gave into a craving, and we know that the thing that we're eating isn't actually in alignment with what we know to be the healthy and fit body. But we don't know how to create that healthy and fit body on a holistic level that has balance and moderation. All we know is the thing that I really want is not in alignment with what I know I need to be eating to get to my goal. We know that much. So then that is the conversation of our thoughts and feelings that's going on while we're eating this forbidden food. Then after we eat the forbidden food, now we feel like a failure, because we know in our mind that this is not the thing that we should be eating. But in our heart, the desire was so overwhelming to eat it. So now we feel like a failure because we knew better. We chose the wrong food. We were wrong. We were bad. We didn't give it our all. We did eat too much. We aren't doing our diet good enough. We have all of these labels and these identifiers that go into our self-judgment. So the way we get past this, you're going to be mind blown at how easy this is. All you have to do is look at other areas of life that you have this same conversation, that you have this same push and pull, that you end up having the same emotions. I'm bad, I'm wrong, I'm not good enough, I'm too much, I'm not worthy of this, I don't deserve this. Where else are those things showing up in your life? Well, it's very simple. We have this incredible device called the Wheel of Life, and you can Google it, and there are several interpretations of it and categories. Pick the one that works for you. If you want, go to the Instagram post so that you can see it. We have categories: health, personal growth, finance, family, career, relaxation, relationships, spirituality. So you take a look at that Wheel of Life and you reflect on the feelings. And then you think, you contemplate, you reflect, where else are these feelings showing up in my life? And when you can find them, you start to work on those areas of life that have that same emotional state, that have the same mindset, and you clean them up. And so when I started to notice this, I took a look at my sexual preferences. I took a look at where my needy parts were showing up in work. And I noticed where I felt like a failure with money. And then what I did is I figured out what I liked. I looked at where my needy parts were showing up in work, and I got really good with my money. I got really organized. I got really good with filling in the leaks where I was spending money where I didn't need to. I cleaned up my debt consolidation, and got really good at preparing for my taxes. I took how I was feeling about myself when it came to food and looked at the other areas of my life where I was feeling the same way, and then worked on it in those other areas of life. Now, here's why it works. It works because we're dealing with energy. Emotions are energy that we measure. They are on the vibrational scale. We can see them with the solfeggio frequencies or the emotional scale. And emotions are molecular. My laptop is on the Handbook of Emotions, 4th edition by Barrett Lewis Haviland Jones. Emotions are molecular. So our emotions are getting stimulated by our food, and our emotions are stimulated vibrationally in the environment. And it all has to do with stress. And stress is just the mindset that's conflicted of what do I desire? What do I really want? And then how do I feel bad for wanting it? And then how do I judge myself when I give in to what I want when it's not in alignment with who I know I need to be to achieve my goal? So it's all energy across the board. You can work with it when you can focus it in on an area. So if we have a health and fitness goal, whether it is to get healthy, to get fit, we're like, I don't really care what my aesthetics look like. Side note, your aesthetics change as a byproduct of getting healthy and fit. Or if you do want to take yourself to a next level and develop a muscle group because you like the way that looks aesthetically on an attraction and magnetic level, whatever it is that you want, wherever you are focused is where you can see your emotions and your mindsets. So all we're doing with this practice of using our food to regulate our emotions is getting in touch with how we're feeling. What is that contrast of what we want to eat that we're resisting to eat? How are we feeling while we're eating it? And then how do we judge ourselves after we're eating? And then where is that stuff in another area of life? Then when we go work on it in that other area of life, we loosen up the resistance to following whatever strategy it is to get healthy and fit or improve our aesthetic. So if you have emotions of feeling like a failure, most of us can relate that feeling into our finances because money buys us more than just security and a roof over our head and food and clothes. It provides us with experiences and a sense of freedom and limitlessness. So if we feel like a failure with money, we can work on the dynamics of money. Okay, where am I spending money that I don't really need to? Where am I, paying high interest rates? How can I change that up? How can I prepare for the inevitable tax appointment? How can I organize my finances on a monthly basis, on the quarterly basis, so that I'm not stressed when it comes to doing the taxes and then looking at all the money and thinking, oh, I shouldn't have spent it on that. I should have done this. I should have done that. You just clean that stuff up, and then it's easier for you to deal with those same emotions when it comes to your body and when it comes to your food choices. So then what happens long term over a course of a couple of weeks and months is that your life that is contributing to your stress, that's contributing to your cravings and your desire to overeat, is moving towards your dream body. And because you're doing the work in these other areas of life that are causing you stress, you are becoming emotionally regulated and being the person who can sustain what needs to happen to stay healthy and fit, to stay in your desired aesthetic. So you're meeting two ends of the life experience: what it is to be you in your body, what it is in your environment, and then what you desire, what you actually want. That's what you're doing with this process. So I'm really excited to share with you. This is literally what you have to do. I just gave it all away. This is the secret sauce to using food to regulate your emotions. And if you want help to have coaching to go through this process, you can join the 3-month renovation. It starts on August 19th. We are currently at the $1,000 pricing if you want to do feelings and food. I'm going to share with you this process, and then we're going to deepen it, and I'm going to give you more support as you go through this process to really come into balance and with peace and harmony with your desires and what is required of you to do to be this person. So I'll help you do that. It is a 3-month coaching container, $1,000 if you want to just do food and feelings. We do have another track for mind and body where I'm going to help you get into your body. Your body is the subconscious mind. Your body is what is storing all the energy. So the mind body track is going to teach you about how your mind works on the unconscious, subconscious, and conscious level, where meanings and emotions are stored in your body. We're going to move those areas, and I'm going to help you reflect on the feelings that come up so that you can start to really understand that exercise and allowing thoughts and feelings to come to your mind while you exercise will also give you information about these dysregulated emotions that are causing you to not follow through, give in to the food, not understanding moderation and satisfaction, so that you can have a lifestyle where you do get to eat cake, ice cream, tacos, margaritas, but also have your fit and healthy body. So that's what we're doing together. If you do mind and body, it's $1,000. If you do feelings and food, it's $1,000. If you want to do both of them together, it's $1,250. All you have to do is email me, Lauren@laurensaracione.com. If you're watching this on YouTube or listening to the podcast, you can DM me. If you are watching this on Instagram, hi, @Lauren Saracione. And then, of course, you can private message me on Facebook if you're watching it on Facebook right now. I would love to support you in this process. This has been so helpful for me to understand myself more and create a lifestyle that has regulated stress and regulate my body and my emotions so that I could be the person to stay grounded when stress happens and not take it out on my body, either in my sabotaging behavior with food or with my body creating boundaries for me, which is essentially what that disc herniation was the buildup in my body that was like, stop. You are doing this all wrong. You are not regulated. You are not living in alignment. Let's slow you down so that you can actually get in touch with yourself and reconnect. And that has been my process to reconnect with myself, regulate my body, change my life, my lifestyle, and be in a body that I really like because it feels good physically, like with tension and headaches really not being an issue. And then also how I like it aesthetically because I keep refining it into the look that I want it to have. So thanks for listening. I'm so glad you guys were here. PM, DM, or email.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you found it helpful, please give me a 5-star rating and review. Share it with your friends. Tag me on social media at Body Energetix with an X or at Lauren Saracione, and I'll reshare you to my story. We'll see you in the Body Energetix community at bodyenergetix.com.